ECRI is the European Commission Against Racism and Intolerance. It's a monitoring commission. We go to all the member states of the Council of Europe and look if the rules, the laws against racism are applicable there, how they are applicated, and how the social situation and the societal situation is in those countries. The issue of intolerance and hostility towards Muslims is on the mind of ECRI for many, many years, because we observe in all of our countries that very often Muslims being in the country are felt as a threat, and this of course goes back to September 11 and to other crimes that have been done on behalf of Islam. And so ECRI sees these developments and always tries to differentiate between fundamentalism, radicalism, extremism on behalf of Islam and between believers in Islam. And as we have more than 20 million people who belong to Islam who are Muslims, this is really a big challenge for us to live peacefully and in a constructive way together with them. How we should address this is just to look at what our neighbors who are Muslims, the little entrepreneurs where we shop at, they might be Muslims, and they often say they are Muslims, how they behave. And what we can see there is they behave exactly like we all do. They have applicated or attached their religion to the country they live in. I speak very often to young Muslims and they tell me, we can imagine to marry a non-Muslim spouse. Why not? We can imagine that we don't go for when it comes to the calendar days, to Ramadan, to the special dater. We imagine, or not only imagine, we are looking for people who are living here, because the data in Arab countries are not valuable for us because to the moon and the sun there. So you see how they adapt already to the country they live in, but they are Muslims. And I mean, we have the best constitutions that are not done for these situations, but which are now applicable for these situations, namely that we have religious freedom in our country. This is one of our greatest values, and it was not done because there are Muslims in our country, but because the Christians, the Catholic ones and the Protestant ones, had their quarrels, and they finally came to the result, let's everybody be as he wants to be. If he is a peaceful person, this is most important. If he stick to the rules, doesn't matter what religion he have. And now we have newer religions, and then we can adopt this also. So I think the legal basis is fine for living together with many religions, and of course with Muslims as well. We need good teachers, enlightened teachers who know about the history of ourselves. I mean, look at Christianity, and who can look at the history of Islam, explain it to children. They are in the midst of what is happening, because I would say that in all of our countries, at least in many Western European countries, there is no classroom without Muslim children now. And what is very sad is that sometimes Muslim parents tell me, I told my child, never say that we are a Muslim family. Isn't that very sad? Because then how can we learn if they have to hide, if they don't trust the society? So trust building is something which can take place in the classroom, at school, in the neighborhood. The guidelines who are published now are a very important tool, I think. The reason is that many teachers are not religious at all. at the time being. We have become a secular continent, and now with the Muslims as immigrants, religion is again on the agenda, and so many people have to learn what it means to be a religious person, what it means to obey religious laws. That it does not mean that you don't obey the democratic laws. You can have them all together. I mean, we see it with Jewish people, we see it with Christian people and so on, and we also see it with Muslim people. So this guideline is very basic. It gives you basic ideas about the religion, it gives you the legal framework, and it gives you educational tools how to teach it.